is live in the studio, so you have the opportunity to ask him your personal questions. So everything you want to ask him, you can ask live here on Instagram, and he will be willing to answer you. So the next faces you're going to be seeing are Brymo's, Tosyn Bucknor, and Angie Francis, right here live on Instagram on Inspiration 92.3 FM. So let's go into the studio and see Brymo live and ask your personal questions live and direct, okay?
I mean, it was firm. Let's be honest.
God damn it!
It
was pretty much. How do I put it?
Yeah.
How do I put it? When I go to the gym and I lift weights, I sort of swell. So I didn't want that. So I got this app that helps me stretch. So I do stretch exercises every day for like a month before the shoot, and so that's what prepared me. So I sort of trimmed down and lost weight.
Okay.
So that sort of just brought out the muscles naturally.
So you did have to
all the muscles you see are just like from my days of lifting weights for like 10 years ago.
Wow. I mean, because I was like, you know what, whatever you have to say about this, you can't deny that it is.
Yeah, she kept talking about the six
what does that mean?
pack situation.
It wasn't even just the pack, it was about the back. But anyways, so I mean, you've sort of answered one of the questions I was going to ask, which is like, did you expect to get that much attention? I mean, some would, question, was it like a way to get people's attention to say, hey, look, sit up, this is Brymo, listen? Or was it just something that you thought of and therefore you didn't even have any clue there was going to be this kind of
I was painting a picture. So I was trying to tell the story. My book also is a fictional work that also borders around the same kind of story. Yeah. I wanted to tell the story of Africa from the very natural perspective. If we didn't have smartphones and mixers and computers and hip hop and jeans and sneakers,
so way back when,
and all of our imported print fabrics that we continue to say are traditional wares.
Yeah.
All of these things, if we didn't have them, how would we look? And so that's what the entire show project is about, my concept. So when you read my book also, you'll be finding a lot of stories from way back when people didn't even have fire. So that's exactly the story I was trying to paint. And that image was a representation of the bushman in the city. I was the bushman, and the piano represented the modern Western civilization. Also, the bridges around that deserted ground represented Western civilization. The city in the distance, Western civilization. Of course, the camera that took the shots. I cannot help, as I'm getting older, to worry about our lack of contribution to how the world is around today. I cannot help but worry about it. And so I was trying to just paint a little image of a bushman in the city. And so.
But I would like to talk about the song a bit, because I mean, I find some of the lyrics very interesting. One of the things you said is how everybody seems to say, there's room for everybody, let's all go. But then like nobody's actually really, so in terms of, I mean, I feel like I know life inspires you, perhaps personal experiences, but like a tailor who has to decide what to leave on the cutting floor, when you're writing, what forms what you do speak about and what you let go of?
Largely experiences. I would not be able to talk about something I have not done. I'll be fabricating it. But when you go through stuff in life, you naturally just have access to. You have very lovely white teeth, to see. So I'm
gonna do the rest of the show.
So I'll be lying if I were to talk about something I know nothing about. So half of the time, I draw inspiration from the things that I have been through, and in the process, I try to make it nice for people to listen, so that they can want to download and pay for my music. Yeah. So after I go through the conceptualizing stage, I have to stop and say, so how does the listener enjoy the song? And that's usually the last part of my writing for me. So the first thing first is, I need to say this thing. All my life growing up, I've always had, first I had my parents tell me, Mama, so Romanos won't don't say that, you're not supposed to say that. So as I got older, I realized that that's exactly what I need to be doing. Saying the things that I need to say,
I'm going to speak like Brymo as we go on a break, because I just want Brymo to know that he's not the only one with a deep voice.
Yeah.
It's still lunchtime on Inspiration.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you. It's still lunchtime on Inspiration 92.3 FM. We'll be back with Brymo right after this commercial break. I can't do this.
Sorry, we just had a quick commercial break.
This is instrumental though.
You know what it is, right?
Classic.
Yeah, you're right.
And we connect the family at Inspiration 92.3 FM.
Hi, kindly say hello to people on Instagram. You're live on Instagram right here.
Hi, Instagram. Hello, Bob.
How do you tell a story of how soothing an experience is when the Vibe machines are unleashed on the city? It is Radio Vibe Mashal in collaboration with the Radio Vibes machine. Welcome to the Vibe, the city of urban, fresh and hot and smashing sounds. The Vibe on Inspiration 92.3 FM in Lagos with Olawale Chocoberry Tote Bag. World famous VJ All Square, the Vibes machine, 8:30 to 10 p.m. Monday to Thursday on Super Time 92.3 FM. Welcome to the city of the Vibes and the machines.
Lagos, you can now maximize the unrivaled mileage and add the extra touch to your business. Take advantage of millions of people listening to Nigeria's #1 family radio station, Inspiration 92.3 FM, and reach out to your target audience.
I love
Call
it.
our marketing hotlines for direct dealings. You can call us on the number 080-555-44616
Are you putting it on your Insta?
512-5413.
Then I will
Inspiration
repost it and I'll
92.3
do it again.
FM, Lagos, your #1 family radio station. We want to stay connected to
Come online,
you
but
and your family.
can you tell people that
Inspiration
they are live?
92.3 FM, your #1 family radio.
Mama.
Brymo, you're gonna curse on a song titled Mama.
When you listen, I actually had to do it.
Fine. Gosh, Brymo.
Oh, thank you for this Lindsay song.
Man, my dream has always been to just, gosh, you, but not even you, because you sort of also, you found a bit of like that mainstream success in your way, but like Ruby Gian, Lindsay, Aramide, like I wish I could create like a universe, but the people who make that kind of music, it just sort of makes me sad.
Well, in the end, they will have to save themselves.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but you know, I do honestly think that we could do better. You know, in terms of on radio, in terms of concerts. And
No,
stuff.
I think the first person that needs to do better is the musician. It's always the musician. Because think about it this way: people only buy that which is sentimental to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, people only tune in. I mean, because it's not really a physical product where you really consume. It's not like a cloth or a soft drink or beer. It's music. So people will only buy that which they can tune into.
You're right.
Yeah, that which hits them emotionally or sentimentally.
So I'm going to go live on my phone. That's it.
Say hi.
So the bulk of the hits made in the mainstream is because of sentiment. So it's sentimental.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So for writers and
If I were doing like
artists,
this.
they have to be able to connect emotionally.
Yeah.
But most artists, don't forget, because we're black people, we don't like to feel shit. We like to hide our feelings. So
True.
in the end, the so-called deep artists, they don't actually reach to the bottom of their own emotion enough
To actually get
to
people
pull from and then get people to tune into that emotion. They don't always do it. And they're not crazy enough.
That's an
So would you say you're
interesting
crazy
point.
enough?
I'm a madman. You know, the pop star is crazy enough to put naked girls all over his video.
Please,
You have to
when
be
you come
crazy
back on here,
enough
please kindly also tell them
to be
that
fucking
we are
butt naked.
live
You have to
on
be.
Instagram, so that we can be more, so that we can have more viewers.
But what
And
has
then-
the acceptance been?
It's
I'm coming.
amazing.
I'll get it. Just
Especially
wait.
because the essential part of the concept was not to really show my butt. Yeah.
No, I'm also talking about this particular song. I'm talking generally as Brymo. What has the acceptance been like?
Well, if I'm to judge any Nigerian artist by the acceptance solely by fans, people who just love your work and follow you, I think Brymo is number one artist in the country right now.
Yes, you actually.
If not on the continent.
You are.
Yeah. Everybody else is paying for everything. You don't want to know. They pay for everything. And then when you get overseas, when you how do I put it? When you saturate here, after scoring a number of hits here, they saturate. Then you go and look for help from overseas. Yeah. Then you get some foreign artists to feature with you so that you can look good.
But you don't care much about that.
Because nobody gets a lot from that. You don't get a lot from it. Because this is your primary market. If Nigerians don't like you, then...
The question is, do you make a lot of money from
What do you mean by a lot of money?
I mean, like, you know how commercial acts is when your lyrics are not deep enough. You're just making hit bangers so people can go to the club. You don't do music like that. Your music is
How do you know they're making a lot of money?
Well, that's what they show. That's what they show us. I'm saying...
That's what they tell you. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm one of the guys who don't tell you anything, who just does what he does on the side. I can tell you for sure that my band has gigged more times in the last 2 years than any other Nigerian artist.
I saw that you of this, and I was like, what this guy saying? Like, how about
That's the truth about it.
Wow.
That's the freaking truth about it. And then the event people are waking up and realizing it's not good enough if the artist has to mime. They're waking up to say, why pay this guy 3 million when I can pay Brymo a tiny less than that, and he will come with a full band. So gradually we are becoming the mainstream.
So who would, like when I think of people like this, I'm thinking of you, Bez, because I always go to like Bez concerts. Who else do you relate to? I mean, like your, I won't say your niche, but your kind of music.
Like other artists?
Yeah, that
you'll be going from people like Simi upwards. People like Simi, people like Aramide, people like Lindsay Abude, the Bezzies, the Timida Kolos, the Ashas. You know, even a Gary will fit into that mold sometimes. Yeah, you know.
Yes, sir. Angie, why don't you guys play one from the CD? Yeah? And later on, I can now work on
Okay, no problem. But tell Tosyn that.
You know, so that's how it works. Like, there are people doing the business who are musicians on the side. And then there are people who are saying that they are. Believe me, every track you hear these boys sing, they're telling you on the song that they're number one. He's telling you that he's at the club killing the show. He's telling you that he has snatched a girlfriend because he killed the show. He's saying it.
But he's not actually
He's not doing it. He's not doing it.
We're live here, so I hope you guys have not been saying secret stuff. Like,
You know, so half of the time you have women liking you because they think you have money. As opposed to women liking me. As opposed to women liking me because they think, damn, this guy is talented. You know. So people see something differently. But my life is freaking easy. My life is way easier than theirs. Because I don't have anybody to impress. I just make music, we just tune in, and I just live my life. I don't live under the pressure of not having enough. Because I actually have enough. Yeah.
You have to impress your crushes.
Afterward.
You have to impress your crushes. I'm crushing on you.
I'm crushing on Tosyn.
That's bad pressure.
She looks like MJ today. I keep telling her, you look like MJ. You just have this sharp face. You just cha.
Angie, okay, that said you know how to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but we also want to play. That's it. Yeah. Because of time, we'll have to play something. Okay, so right with the boomerang. Any chance I could get it?
IG was popping.
The video.
It's on my story on Instagram.
Yeah, but I can't get it. Is there any way to
So I should send it to you?
May I give you my WhatsApp number?
Yes, please.
May I type it so I don't give a whole lot? In the process.
Okay, can they really hear us on IG?
Yes, you're live.
Is it so loud?
Yeah, they can hear everything you're saying.
You
in the
don't already
studio.
have it. For Brymo.
Yeah, people live on Instagram.
They're all saying wave.
They're waving at you.
We're supposed to wave. We can wave at
Oh, they're waving.
Yeah, at
Yeah, and
you.
we can wave at them. You can click on wave for one and it says like we're waving at them.
Oh.
So you can and answer your ask them.
Amazing.
If you want to post it, I really want to post it. And we're back. It's still lunchtime on the show. Today is none other than Brymo. So, I wanted to ask you though, because I feel like in 2017, 2018, it's even 2018. Like I know that when I was watching your video, you know, sometimes when you're listening to an artist, you're watching an artist, whatever it is. A lot of times people always see something else or see someone else. So for example, you could be watching an artist and you'd be like, oh, this person reminds me of ABC. And I was thinking like, literally it feels like practically everything has been done. So do you think it's possible as an artist to sort of still have that opportunity to be unique and carve like a really unique identity as an artist? And if so, how?
Yeah, it's possible. It's very, very possible. What you would need is to look inwards at things that are important to you and then champion them. Sometimes it's even your little inconsistencies that you work on. As you work on them and you improve, you share that success with the world. So the bulk of the things I'm trying to do is primarily to save myself. I'm trying to save myself. But the only right way to save yourself in this world is to share the information of how you did it with others. So if you cannot share the information of how you did something with other people, you're a criminal. You know? So that's the truth about it.
What if you were lucky and you just got an oil well nobody wanted? Sorry.
Yeah. Especially if you had like the tailor or the like the hairdresser, so the guy who owns the oil well. I understand that.
This coughing.
But my point is, in the end, you need to be able to give success tips.
Okay.
So, and the things that I talk about in my music are the things that help me find peace. Things as mundane as patience, as honesty, these are the actual things that make great people. And even when you are a prostitute, be honest about it.
Be proud.
Be proud of what you're doing. If you're gonna be proud of it, then you have to stop doing it. You know,
I don't
which is where sin and crime come in.
Yeah.
There is sin. Don't be ashamed of sin. Nobody can survive in this world without sin. Just beware of crime, because when it becomes crime, that's when you start to hurt other people. That's when there's a problem.
Brymo is all shades of blue today.
I'm just like
That's the truth.
Some
That's the
deep
truth.
stuff.
You know.
Okay, so like I want to ask like the most cliche question. Where did music start with you? How did you decide, or what prompted you to decide to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do it 9 to 5. I'm not going to go out there and get a white collar job. I'm going to do music. I'm going to face it full time.
Laziness. I was a lazy kid. I like to chill all day. That would be like low wash and then I'm like, no. I came to this life to chill. I did not come to this life to suffer, you know. But then, as I got older, it became very, very important to have something to do, something to put food on the table. And so, it was supposed to be football. Okay. And then I kept thinking about 11 of us on the team. Everybody has to be good for us to win.
My goodness.
I need a coach. Somebody can just break my leg.
You're like, no.
Then this thing to go hard, though. You know? But with music, I had all the right tools, a strong, loud voice, and sometimes ridiculous opinion, and you know, and so I realized that I could actually be a musician more than I could be a footballer. And I would sing endlessly when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm washing my clothes, when I'm in the bathroom. My dad would give me a sermon about how Islamically it was wrong to sing in the bathroom, and I was inhaling all the germs that people put there, you know, and stuff like that. So it started in the bathroom, and then I started out when I was in JSS 2 or thereabout. During break time, I would go from class to class. I actually spent almost 7 years doing recon work before I started writing music. I would just go from class to class and watch other students who wanted to go into music. They would be beating on their tables. Then it used to be raga. It was very popular in Nigeria. And they would be beating on the table. Nani, you are the only girl I want in my life. I say, hey, let's go there, music. So I would observe, and then I realized that everybody was doing
the same thing.
That kind of reggae music. And I was like, I was not going to do this. so to do something else. And then it didn't take long for people like Westlife, R. Kelly was really big in Nigeria, and I started listening to a lot of Western music. Fortunately, I grew up in a home where there was a lot of Fuji and Juju and all that, so I already had a background in local music. And so I just started fusing all of the music I've ever listened to, and I'm still doing the same thing till date. Recently, I listened to a lot of jazz and a lot of rock, and a lot of unusual stuff. It gets
Alternative
weirder.
sounds.
It gets weirder as I get older.
Weird music is the best music in my opinion.
Of course,
Yeah.
always.
Okay,
So,
but you spoke about this, your deep, strong voice. What are your routines? What do you do to maintain your voice? You know how people have like those voice, all those things.
yeah.
How do you keep it that deep?
Well, I can say that the real gift that I have, the thing I cannot explain to you where I got it from, is the voice itself. Especially the strength, not the singing.
The strength.
Yeah, I've always had a loud, strong, powerful voice, you know. And it used to be me just talking and people like, lower your voice, you are yelling. You know, I'm like, no, I'm not yelling, I'm just projecting. I'm like, you're shouting. I'm like, what do you
So
see
you
me
never
shout?
needed a microphone.
No, never really. And then,
Do you ever do theater?
what?
Theater
No,
because
never.
of that, okay.
But then I had to start learning to sing. At the very beginning, I could not sing a whole verse without going off key, like everybody else. And then I started to just get better and better and better. And so I would only sing songs that I can kill. So I'll be singing right where people just start singing those songs that I know very well. And they'll be like, who has that voice? Wow, you have a lovely voice. Like, thank you. But for every single time someone told me, you have a great voice, it actually boosted my morale and made me feel better. And I just kept doing it, and then I started learning to write. So it has been sort of taking everything, and after a while I had to start learning how to conceptualize for a video. And then recently I've had to learn on how to actually carry out the music business. You know,
Because, I mean, a lot of people talk about the fact that it's called show business.
Yeah.
But we seem to concentrate a lot
on the show
and
too much.
so, I mean, but then what steps do you take to learn the business side?
Experience is part of it. You will never be able to stand on your own if you do not get someone to hold you up in the first place. So by working with other people, you get experience from them. Sometimes you can work with people and everything just goes and you don't have to stand on your own. Everything just works out nicely. But in my own case, it didn't work out nicely enough. And then I had to start learning to stand on my own. So I think experience is the first thing. And more importantly, you cannot be a great artist in the 21st century if you don't understand your own business. Because unlike before, people would discover music from some artists that probably wasn't hot before. And then they would say, this person is special. But if you look at history still, there has never been a musician who is a legend who was not hot when he was alive. Never. You must have done some great stuff in your lifetime that they would hold on to and remember. It's different from a painter.
Yeah.
For a musician, every great musician was great in their lifetime. All of them. So it's almost impossible to not be successful and then go and then they will not say you're a legend. It's almost impossible. You know, it's almost impossible. You must be very, very famous at least, or very rich. Then you must have one of both. It's like Bob Marley, more depth in his music and more meaningful lyrics, but MJ was equally rich. Yeah. So you must, as a musician, you must have a lot of success of some kind that people can remember. That success is what they hold on to after you're gone. So yes, you must understand the business of music, especially now that there are like 1,001 of us.
Man.
It
feels like there are more artists
It's
than
like a
fans.
musician is
It's
born
crazy.
every day.
But don't worry, the bulk of the musicians are also fans.
Okay.
As soon as they find an artist who can inspire them, they become fans instantly. They have like only 1% of musicians globally are actually the assholes who stand and say, I am the man, I am the best of, I'm the greatest of all time. You know, a-hole, sorry. Okay, none of the above. Bad language, people, forgive my French, you know. So, at the end of the day, there are only a few people who stand and say, I am special. The bulk. So, as a musician, if you understand, you can actually still stand and convert as many people as possible into becoming your fans. So, you cannot create a niche successfully if you do not understand the business of music.
Speaking of those who've gone, I mean, let me just give you some random names, and if you were to perhaps bring one back. Tupac, Biggie, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. Who are you going for?
One,
Yes.
Bob
Just one.
Marley.
Bob Marley. And why?
Why?
Bob Marley, because of the he was from a third world country, even though his country was very close to the US, but he was from a poor country, and he managed to rise from all of that to become a global star. Everybody else on the list, Americans, they had a system in place. They invented the system by which we even record the music. So they have that going on for them. But he came from Jamaica and became a world-class superstar, you know. And so that's very, very special. Very, 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 very special. And he didn't do it by just making love songs.
Okay. So
Yeah, he did it by giving essence and meaning to his music.
We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, more with Brymo. And Brymo, everyone on the show has to give a proverb. So when we come back, we'll be getting a proverb from you.
so we're not doing the dance or the push-up?
Can I say it in pidgin?
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Brymo, I'm begging you, please. You have to watch what you're saying.
Oh, because it's Inspiration FM.
Yeah, we're live, and I'm going to get fined.
How most of your fans are like really religious people?
No, but we're live, and I'm going to get fined. So you cannot say. Can I give you a list of the words you're not allowed to say?
Like a-hole?
Yeah. Brymo.
Okay.
F my condition. Fixing my career.
I already have questions. Please answer.
Gin strings, oh my god. Is that gin strings?
You guys have to tell Brymo that I'm going to wash his mouth out with soap.
Can I see more, please?
Yeah, this one. Next question.
Collaboration with Asha, when should we be expecting the bomb from you guys? Yeah, as soon as we can, you get the music, please.
Can you do me a favor? When you go back on there, can you give me like a signal remind me to mention like completely forgot?
Okay.
My goodness. Okay, people are telling me their favorite song on your album. So we'll play, I think we'll be able to play one or two. Which ones do you want us to play back?
Very soon, nobody will give me interviews anymore on radio.
Yeah.
You chat too much shit.
For example,
I don't think you care.
Let me beg Brymo, that's I don't want to be fined.
Well, some things are better said like that.
Brymo, I don't care. You're live on radio.
Okay. I'll try. Discipline, Olawale, discipline.
Olawale, you are very stubborn, as they used to say to you. Is that not what you said? Olawale,
I'm sorry.
how about we do this? Every time you say something you're not supposed to say, I get to punch you in the nose.
From there?
No.
Are you like Fantastic
During
Four?
the break, I will punch your nose. Brymo, please, I'm begging you, please.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, this is it.
What's that guy called? This stretchy guy.
Actually, let me go start now.
Oh my God.
I can handle his access.
Please, don't break my nose. That's the only thing that's fine on my face.
No, that's...
Oh my.
Gosh.
Okay, I'll try.
There is no try.
Okay, I'll do
What
it.
is that? There is no try.
I'll be clean from now on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
So you know the Instagram handle, Abi? IFM at 92.3.
IFM 92.3.
Yeah.
I said, so which one should we play?
We are playing Bob Marley because I said Bob Marley.
Yes. But which one should we, like which of the songs?
You can play Patience and Good Luck. Oh, God is in your mind.
Please.
Patience and Good Luck.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about when we go back on after Patience and Good Luck.
I'm serious.
Can you check which video? I'm not sure if it's one or two. Just cue. No, don't fix it or just cue. Then it's two.
Okay, so Patience and Good Luck.
So if you switch, you keep switching like this.
4.
I'm gonna very.
Is it on that?
We're gonna very. I'm gonna very.
So these things will continue playing no matter what. That's interesting. Let me just put those numbers for you.
And if you smoke grass, it could be like say you wanna know a lot. But I know something.
So Brymo, your proverb has to be in any language other than English.
Oh, so preaching is good then. Preaching is not English. Oh, it's preaching English.
We don't any language other than teaching or English. Any language other than teaching or English.
Alright.
Then we have a challenge. And you have to pick one or the other. You either have to give us 20 push-ups or you have to dance shaku shaku.
Shaku shaku.
Yes.
I don't know how to.
So you either have to do push-ups or do shaku shaku. So which one are you doing?
Push-ups. That's why.
Shaku shaku.
You do this.
Shaku shaku.
Why don't you want to do the push-up?
Because it's hard.
Again, you don't like anything else.
So when we go back, I have some lunchtime questions. Basically, just some of the questions we asked on the show normally. So, you know. But I also want us to talk about the album as well.
Wait, a proverb in Yoruba. I cannot remember any.
It's time to start
And
Googling.
the fire with the burn.
It's time for you to start Googling.
You know, feel
Let me think.
Who is Larry? Come and give you expo. But I don't want him to be expo. I want you to be stammering. You better have a proverb, but without this your deep music, you must
I was
know
going to
a
say, why you
proverb.
asking that kind of question? You should.
He says he doesn't know one in Yoruba.
Are you believe it? Son of a carpenter. Let's do something now.
Brymo, how many more minutes do we have with you?
It was like 15.
You want to take pictures of us now? Oh, we can do it now so that when we're done, because I'm sure when we're done, he will want to be. Why do you want to take pictures? I'm sorry, I don't think I introduced you to Yemi. So, Yemi goes on the... Yeah, okay.
Incidentally, like weekend, I saw like his interview from Robin Mind to Channels. I was just watching back to back after this Heya video. Yeah. Come and join us.
What all the nonsense I said?
It makes a lot of good time because you don't hear from Say Heya now.
Yeah.
Any?
Is that what?
Is it a... Sorry.
Yeah.
You can play...
This is instrumental.
There's a Ciara stuff down there.
Evergreen.
Jazzy,
Nice.
good.
Ever. Can you ever do something with him, like with Don Jazzy?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
You did already. What song?
I said I would 5 years ago.
Oh, not anymore.
Can you just let me back him?
Well, I think that has quality. It's just like giving us what we want.
I'm going to be fine.
Quality, yes, but it's about what I want to do.
So just do what you like. It's video, so it's the last time.
Oh, okay.
You've been filming since?
What is Brymo looking at?
Come on, be careful.
Okay, that's enough.
With my hair.
Kids are watching. That's enough.
Yeah, kids at home watching this shit. Oh gosh. Did you record that?
Larry.
I'll put it up.
So, Larry, having said
Come
that,
on, join
but
us. I'll
now
do it for you.
I'm only going to be doing recorded interviews.
I don't want to take a picture.
So that I can censor.
Cover your face.
I won't do it on air.
Yeah.
Promise.
Alright, so let's join now. Sandwich.
Oh, this is live.
Brymo's Angels.
You understand?
This one is live.
Is that picture or video?
Picture now. Okay. You want to do the video?
Yo.
The time starts now.
Okay.
You guys are looking so fresh.
Oh, shit.
Is that how it's doing?
Oh, yeah, this is Shaku is going to do it.
Let's do
Is
it.
that shak shak?
Do it in what you claim you're going to do for.
Ah, Tosyn, you have hopes.
Hey!
That's it.
I can't believe it. The whole Brymo can't do shaku shaku. Oh my god.
I'm getting it now.
I know, that's shuku shaker.
Get off my seat. Oh my god.
I was wondering, since we have about 5 minutes of adverts, can you maybe just do a drop so that by the time we wrap up, you don't have to. Can we do a drop in that production?
Okay, so let's follow Brymo to go do a drop. Yes, now.
Right here?
Yes, sir. Right here for the drop. Okay, so this is. Okay, you can do the drop.
Okay, I don't know where it is to, but let me see if I can attempt to touch the equipment.
Oh. Hello. What we're going to find out now is if Mr. Yemi can attempt to touch the system.
Okay, and why are you doing like that way? Because I don't get it.
Why am I?
Why are you doing your leg like this? I don't understand. Are you trying to dance Shuku Sheka?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we prefer emails.
To avoid junk.
Okay. Brymo, don't you want to do something special for the gram?
No game saying that it should be clean.
Junk?
No, but clean. The sweepers.
Oh, they're always clean. Always clean.
How are you going to say it online?
Hey.
Are you always like this?
What?
Are you always like this?
Yes. You've
Always
just
like
never
this.
noticed. Why didn't you notice before?
You was having a lot of great sex.
Wow. Woo.
Am I right?
On Instagram, yay! Funke! Okay, this is what I was told to see, and right now she's it's like he's off.
Father Lord.
Where did you get it from? That's what happens when Brymo says something and she has to pace around.
So my real name, not Brymo.
Yes, Brymo, of course, so that they can know who's talking first.
Okay. So ready?
So this is what he does when he's not recording. He touches his hair and yeah.
Hi. I am Olawale Oloforo, aka Brymo, and I'm inspired by life, people, time, and everything that passes by that my eyes can catch. So, right there, you have it.
So you just say, that's my inspiration. What's yours?
Okay. So, that's my inspiration. What's yours?
Correct. So we're going to do
I sound like a voiceover artist.
Yeah, in fact.
Like voice under.
Voice on that.
It's so right.
Okay, so you're going to do a drop for our show?
Yeah, or just for being, so that I can just play it anytime. Do you get, instead of mentioning the show, you can just, I'm chilling with whatever, just Tosyn Bucknor.
I'm chilling with Tosyn Bucknor.
Okay, Tosyn Bucknor.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Brymo, and I'm right here chilling with Tosyn Bucknor. Don't go anywhere.
Cool, nice. See the eyes, she was watching like finish those.
They're good.
Cool. So what else can we do for
Father Lord,
lunchtime,
thank
please?
you.
So I'm this
Thank
you're listening
you.
to Lunchtime on Inspiration FM.
Hey, my name is Brymo, and right now you're listening to Lunchtime on Inspiration 92.3 FM.
Right. Nice. Yeah, like you've been doing that before you came or something.
I did a Pepsi verse.
Okay, so
Pepsi,
please,
Guinness
so
verse
for the
last
first
year.
time, I hope
I've trained this.
I want to do a video what's inspiration for the first time.
Okay.
So you're going to tell people you're going to put this on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you suddenly having these bright ideas?
We had it, but people never agreed to. But you're saying like yeah.
So why we shouldn't it?
We can go back.
Are we still live?
Yes, we're still live. They are following you everywhere.
Oh my god.
They have to know what Brymo does.
We're paparazzi. We kidnapped
We stalk you. We're paparazzi. We stalk Brymo. We're stalking Brymo.
Brymo,
30 seconds.
we kidnapped you.
See what you're.
But it didn't matter.
The same thing you did there. We're gonna do a video. Because people are watching, so you see my time off and all that.
Auntie, don't you think this is very
Depressing.
yeah?
Hi, Instagram.
I told you to be doing eye like this. No, just be doing eye like this.
No, hi, Instagram.
No. Hi, Instagram. Okay, well, I don't have anything.
I'll send you out of the class.
Hi, I am Olawale Oloforo, aka Brymo, and I'm inspired by life, people, time, events, everything that passes by. Yeah, so you have it right there. That's my inspiration. What's yours?
Thank you.
Yay!
God bless
That
you.
was awesome.
being voiceover artists now.
I don't tell Larry now. We need to get more and more and more bookings from that.
Let's just go on so we have more time with you. We'll just go on over the song. I mean, sometimes I think what happens when we're not on air can be like more fun than what happens when we're on air. We washed Brymo's mouth out with soap, and we're all good now. But by the way, you know, you can watch us on Instagram Live. Just go on to IFM 92.3 and you'll see Brymo live and direct, especially now that he's going to give us a proverb in Yoruba.
Yes, oh gosh. Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Especially as he's going to give us a proverb.
Tosyn, I see you like surprises. Just drop it on me. Boah! Unexpectedly.
Ha!
He says what?
Now what? Boah, I got.
But we told you.
On Instagram Live, there's evidence so that we
actually told you.
Abi?
Okay, so here's my proverb. I had that last seconds to think about it.
Please, just remember there are children listening.
Okay, there's a Yoruba proverb that says, "Enyafe sunje don't febo para." It means that it's so hard to interpret these things in English.
Especially cleanly.
Yeah, you know. But I think it essentially means that while everyone was waiting to, there's a trap, you know, in the way for you, and this is so hard.
This is nice.
That moment when you give a proverb and you can't interpret it.
Okay, well, okay, let me just say literally. So I'm trying to barbecue you.
Yeah.
And there you are, you have palm oil rubbed all over you.
Wow.
Just making it easy.
Yes, exactly. So I'm trying to get you in trouble and you're making it very, very easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you could say it to us one more time in Yoruba?
Enyafe sunje don't febo para. You understand? I wish I could give like a practical example. You know?
Shoot.
It's like
if we won't be arrested.
It's like a student, you're going for an exam. Yeah, and you have a little textbook stuck in the back of your pocket. And then you tell the teacher, no, I didn't mean to cheat.
But it's right there, the evidence.
It's right there, yeah.
Let's talk about the album, Brymo.
Is that even the explanation?
See, let me tell you, there's someone here who's just laughing at you.
Well, it's so difficult.
What can I do? This artist is a genius, I love you, but this is proverb, eh? That's I don't know which one has like the proverb itself, the translation, the example.
This must be why when I write songs,
if
I want to write in English lately, I just write in English. Yeah, you know, it's very difficult to interpret something from one language to the other.
It can be difficult, especially because, like, I think Yoruba is funny that way. I think you can insult someone 100 different ways in Yoruba.
Yep.
All while saying eh or auntie or ma.
Absolutely.
Auntie, I don't Let's talk about your new album, Brymo. I mean, take us through it in terms of, how long it took you to actually put this together, and perhaps where your mind space was at that time.
I think the Osho is pretty much a work of research, of course, without removing the fact that I will always put my emotions in there and tell my own stories partly. But I did a lot of research work. I wanted to be informed on the things I wanted to say, and I do that a lot with most albums anyway, but this was very special. I just pretty much opened my mind. When I read articles, I digest them and take them in and be like, I like this story, I'll make it a part of this song or that song. And sometimes some of the stories are just like one-liner or two-liners in the song, but everything has to connect to come together. Like I remember a song like Patience and Good Luck. I literally wanted to write a song about patience and good luck, and then I realized that it will be a waste of my time because it will be an approach that everybody knows. I will have to say it verbatim. That's there's a man and there's a woman, and this man is good luck and the wife is patient. So how cheap that would sound, you know. So I couldn't get myself to write that kind of cheap lyrics. So in the process of writing the song went from being about those characters to being about
the virtue,
patience, and good luck. But then when you listen to the chorus, like there's a meme going on Twitter where there's a picture of ex-president Goodluck Jonathan and his wife, and the person hugging themselves. They were hugging and kissing, I think. And then he said, "Patience and good luck." Then they close like hair and skin. So that's the line of the hook is still the only part of the song in the end that would have anything to do with the characters themselves, because they're husband and wife, they're quite close. And but the rest of the song had to become about the virtue, so that the song could stand the test of time. But for everybody who sees the title, they would always say, "Is he talking about the president, the ex-president and his wife?" Yeah, they would always get that message. But when they listen, it will be about the virtue.
Let's do a quick time check just to let people know what time it is. It's still Inspiration 92.3 FM. It's just literally a time check, but I have to just do it.
It's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
92.3.
So we're wrapping up now. This is the
Radio.
final part. Thank you, Brymo, for keeping it clean. Oh gosh, I love you.
I told you I could.
Alright, we're back. Thank the Lord. Alright, so there's some questions we asked on lunchtime this week that we want to ask you. The first one is Saudi Arabia is looking at a law to make snooping on your partner's phone illegal. So if Nigeria were to pass such a law, would you be in jail?
If
Snooping.
that would be if I'm cooperative, I snoop.
Yes.
No.
So you would never snoop.
But that's an amazing law, though. I love it. I hope my woman's not listening. I'm sorry, Anjori. But that's an amazing law.
So are you saying you get snooped on? Are you saying you get snooped on?
Are you not a woman?
Are you saying you get snooped on?
I didn't say anything. Next question,
Do you
please.
snoop?
I'm not one of them. I'm not going to
So
jail.
you don't snoop at all?
I never do.
When last did you snoop?
I never snoop.
Okay. All right. What's the best advice you've been given recently, and by whom?
Oh wow. Great question. Advice. I've received quite a number of advice lately. I think one of them will be to not write an autobiography yet.
Okay.
That was given to me by my mentor, Dr. Sulaiman. And what other advice did I get lately? I can't remember. I think that was the last one.
Okay.
So I was writing a book, and then my mentor said, "You're writing an autobiography? Look, actually, don't write it. Write something else, you know." So
are you writing something else?
yeah, I'm writing fiction. I'm writing a book called I won't disclose the name yet.
Okay.
Because we haven't published. And yes, so but it's a very dear story to me. I wanted to actually write more in terms of what I think about the story of Africa, of maybe over the last 1,000 years or thereabouts, 2,000 years. So so it has to be fictional work to make it interesting for people to read. So the book I'm working on will be the first of a possible trilogy. So if it comes out and people accept it nicely, I'll write another one and then another one. So the story will just unfold more and more. But so far, it's a story of a boy who grew up in a town where everything works well. The town was on a mountain, so the weather was good. It was always cold. They were even poppy farmers, and some of the grown-ups even had access to the drug, you know, and it was an amazing life.
It was such a great
but in
story.
the end, it was an era where there was no light at night, so people didn't have control of fire, and except they depended on the moon for light at night, and they worshipped the sun for bringing the light every day. And then this boy thought that the sun was a cruel god who always deserted the people every evening, and he was going to go out. He kept having this dream about a place where there was light. So he set out to look for the place where there was light. And that's pretty much the foundation of the story. But at the bottom of all of that is the story of what black people were probably doing here before the arrival of Western civilization.
But I think apart from the book, which by the way already sounds so fascinating, have you thought of audiobooks? Have you thought of perhaps...
Yeah, with that voice.
Yeah, because as you were saying it, I just said hello, and I was really getting into it, and I was like, maybe you should, and I think you should try it perhaps in Yoruba.
Okay, we could take this book and then
make an audiobook
of it.
Yeah.
I think it
You see, this is the best advice I've been given lately.
We know. All right, right, Brymo, just as we get set to wrap things up, everybody on the show has to do a challenge. Angie, do you want to give him the challenge?
Yes. So the challenge is you either dance shaku shaku, because we've decided that it's only shaku shaku we want here, or you do 20 push-ups.
So which music?
We'll provide the music.
We'll provide you that. We'll give you like bear or diet.
Oh, no, shaku shaku.
20 push-ups.
So you want to do shaku shaku?
I cannot do push-ups.
You are going. Are you accepting our challenge?
Say it now, so you
shaku
won't say
shaku?
we didn't tell you.
I'll do shaku shaku.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
I've seen it many times in videos now.
It's not as.
Tell him that if he's a non shaku
Do you
shaku,
want
we will redo it.
to maybe look at Expo before we start, or you are ready to go into it?
Can I get expo?
Okay, I'll show you Expo. What I'll
That's
do
nice.
is I will show you people. I'll show you the 10
You just
best
show me. You can
shaku
dance it anyway.
my own shaku shaku is doing common entrance. The one I want to show you is the one that has master's degree. You understand me now? That one I go to school.
The guy from Olamide's Wall video.
Hey,
The guy in the factory. The guy who like got flour on him.
We know that's the guy that invented it.
That's the guy, right?
Yeah,
the guy kept. Oh my God! He was like, God damn it!
So that what we're going to do is we're going to. But you know what, Brymo? Thank you so much for swinging by on the show today.
For raising Tosyn's
For those of you who want to see Brymo's shaku shaku, do check us out.
Oh my God!
On Instagram, we're live. IFM 92.3. Brymo, thank you for swinging by.
Thank you so much.
For people who want to connect with the real Brymo online, what is your official handle?
You can find me on Twitter as BRYM Olawale. That's Brymo Olawale. The same thing as Instagram, same thing as Tumblr. My Tumblr is rated 18. Because I didn't warn you.
It's even you are rated 25. It's not 18.
Enter at your age.
Oh my God.
Even you are rated 25.
Don't try this at home.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going off, but lunchtime continues right after this. Okay, so I'm going to play a
But can shaku shaku to this song now?
No, we can't.
I'm hot, and you're not. And I'm hot, and you're not. How did man?
So,
I can't believe you can't dance shaku shaku.
Do you want Expo or not? Do you want to see
Expo, I want Expo.
Let's look for shaku shaku for you. So, should we look for shaku shaku war video or?
Oh, please. Oh, was dope.
But there's no sound.
Shape for the shaku shaku.
Yeah, for this system.
It's just for him to see the dance step now before we give him leg.
So we're giving Brymo expo on how to dance shaku shaku, so you can see.
What is cowboy?
He's practicing.
And he doesn't know how to dance shaku shaku.
Because I think he's going to start sweating and hyperventilating immediately after. So before it just happens, hi Brymo.
Hi.
It's okay. You can go.
Can't I take my selfie? You know I don't have a phone. Please let me read this now, please. For to be sure that I've been snapping. You know how much please, can I take my selfie?
Remove your shirt, thank you. God bless.
There's something I noticed. It's like when the person is doing this, the body is going this way.
Yeah, so you're.
So you're going like this.
Yeah.
Like this.
See, look at Brymo's expo. This is what he's watching. So that he
It's
will
hard,
practice.
So you see. But this is even advanced. This is even a little too much. No, it's not hard though.
I mean, can I take my selfie now? Brymo.
And is it with the face? The kid.
Yes. We wish you all the best as you do.
They're asking you to dance, Brymo.
Oh, are we live already?
No, she hasn't played this one.
Are you ready?
Can I
want you
take
to
my
please
selfie
take
before
a
you go
selfie
live?
first.
Thank you.
Take a selfie first. Then we'll be ready to go.
Thank you.
We will now see if it's shaku shaku, shuku sheka.
Okay, let me go back to you.
So there's one called Shubi Sheka too.
That's the one I dance because I don't know how to dance.
They're waiting for you. They say, oh yeah, dance on Instagram.
So, are you ready?
Can we do that to Ara?
Yes. I'm already dancing it for you now.
How will I do it again?
Yes.
Where's my expo?
Guy now.
Can you just watch me since that one is not see?
They haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah, but they didn't really dance shaku shaku.
Where's the boy? Where's that boy?
What's that guy? He's the reason Shaku Shaku started, and after that, any money now took the video, the dance and modified it.
I'm not giving that name. Shaku Shaku.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm not ready now.
No, that's Shuku Sheka. Is it the dance? No. Lock the door. You can't go outside. Something the midst of his dance.
Okay, I'm ready.
You know how to dance now, okay.
He knows it. I think he's just been giving us.
The song now. Yeah. The song. You don't remember the movie.
No, this is Shuku Sheka. This is Shuku Sheka. Are you ashamed of him?
He did it now. He's done it.
No, he has not done anything. No, he's not Shaku. This is Shuku Sheka. The one is that is Shuku Sheka.
I did it.
Let me show you.
Yes.
Take one, I can have it.
iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6.
This is Shuku Sheka. Shuku Sheka. Shuku Sheka.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
This job, he doesn't even like.
I did it.
You did it. You got it.
Tosyn, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Aren't you going to say bye to your Instagram people?
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It was so good hanging with you guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And
I'm out.
okay, he's out. So let's see him out. Just to this point section. All right. Bye, Brymo.
Princess, you need to work for TMZ. Don't get your